We're seeing unprecedented things happen because the New World Order, as you know, the listeners may not, works in phases. And then they have these jump phases. They build slowly, then they jump. We are entering a jump phase, are we not?
We are. It's long-term plans, very long, in fact, intergenerational. And that's the key to the success of it. It's so slow, and then they hit you, and then slow again for a while till we adapt to the new system, and then they hit you again. But it's all designed to bring us into a global society, this new world order that Bush Sr. talked about. It's also a brave new world type of system, but first we must go through the Orwellian phase of it with the big boot stamping on the face forever. That's what we're going through now with the children ratting on parents, with the government in control of everything that you do economically. There'll be so many regulations now according to what you can buy, according to your status, your actual status to the system, because in this system, eventually there'll be no private property. That's stated already. That's one of their mandates. So they're going to eventually have government coming into private property, gradually taking it all over, and then you're dependent on government for your very survival and for your work and all the rest of it. This is the brave new world they're heading towards. But first they must train us all into it, and it's a training exercise as much as anything else to get the public of the world terrified so that we will accept all of the incredible rules and regulations that are coming down the pike. We will come out of this, as I say, much more with a reduced population, with an economic system that will never, ever be the same again, and we're all supposed to serve what they call the world state. That will be our only duty.
And the key to taking over private property is the carbon tax and the new environmental overlays, which they're now announcing to the public, from the Club of Rome documents when people laughed at us to now implementation.
That's right. The Club of Rome was the main think tank. Now, all these think tanks are connected at the top. There's the pyramid structure, the 1,000 points of light, with the NGOs working for them to bring in social policy. And the Club of Rome stated in their own book towards the first global revolution, the two founders who wrote the book stated that they came up with the idea of blaming the public for something to do with the weather, possibly global warming. That would fit the bill, and we'd all have to adapt and change our lives accordingly to the rules and regulations they would set out, supposedly to save.
And of course, the current head of the CFR wrote that in 1992 as the adopted policy. He said a pincer attack of fake terror to set up the boot, the hot police state, and then the socialist velvet glove micromanagement of the family, controlling of the business, the watchers in your life through the threat of global climate change. And he said we can claim ice age when it's cold, and then we can inadvertently claim global warming when it's hot.
Yes, that's a fact.
Alan, why are they now? Why were they ready now? And are they on schedule? Because there is a huge awakening take place, but it didn't matter of 1,000 to 1 phone calls, and that's on record, over 1,000 to 1 in some cases of the people who were against it. Congress was then just threatened with martial law. So it's not just that the public isn't going along with it. Now the establishment doesn't care.
That's correct. Now it seems to be the right time. These guys, especially with the internet, they can take constant polls, daily polls, because of the traffic on the internet. They know what the public think, what they want, and even where the confusion lies, and they exploit the confusion factor. So it's psychological war, but it's really intelligence gathering as well. These guys don't make mistakes. They know exactly when to hit us, and what a more perfect a time to hit us when they've declared a worldwide war on terror, this vague term. And it isn't until you realize that they're talking about everyone who lives with an idea that the old system is okay, the system they grew up in. Anyone who believes that is therefore a terrorist. These guys are bringing us to the new world order, as George Bush Sr. kept telling us. It's a new world order, a new system of running things, a new way of living. That's the most important thing of all. You won't be able to just breed as you wish to, pass your genes on, pick a mate. All of that's coming through now through different.
That's what they mean. No law of the jungle, which we think of barbarism as law of the jungle. No, they mean the law of the jungle: meeting, marrying who you want, living where you want, owning your own property. No. The rule of the New World Order.
That's correct, and that's what the pyramid stands for. It sits on the wasteland. The wasteland happens to be the profane, meaning the general public. That's what they mean by that.
What do you see happening in the short term?
The short term, governments will come in and gradually take over See, governments don't have to take over everything in any particular sector. As long as they have shares in it, they come in with rules and regulations. That goes with all the different organizations that already receive subsidies, etc., from government. Little homes, even to care for the mentally disabled. Governments come in and demand that you have 2 or 3 stairwells and so many fire extinguishers and so on and so on. Then you end up doing bookkeeping for the government until you can't move for bookkeeping.
Yeah, that sets the precedent in something that sounds reasonable, and pretty soon it's getting a $10,000 fine for dropping a banana peel.
That's right, and they already have the big move on, again, from this quiet organization, this United Nations, that was set up to be the front for world government eventually. It's now getting teeth, and they already have mandated that inspectors go around homes, even through the rural areas, and fine you thousands of dollars if there's even a downpipe from your gutter that happens to have a hole in it, or is bent, or whatever, or plugged. I mean, they're going the whole route of punishment and using economics to punish the public.
But it's all for the earth, so it's okay.